All right, I'm going to wait here for a few minutes here. I'm going to wait for everybody to kind of log on for a minute here. And I don't have my phone. So I'm going to, where people are logging on. This is good. You're going to notice a nice blank wall back behind me because I am in the maybe reading room is what we're calling it. So you can kind of tell here. I'm here in Lincoln. So I'm going live from Lincoln because I am here at work. So I thought, well, I'll just have to go live from the store. So we're getting a lot more stuff in here. So I'm thankful that I have some help now. So I have amazing staff. Like they're keeping me sane right now. So it's great. So, all right. So, well, yeah, I'm getting there. This Lincoln store is getting shaped up. So November 2nd will be the re-grand opening here at the store. So we're just trying to get everything all ready to go and filling in the holes here. So, but it's going great. We're super excited. So I'm really excited actually. So, okay, if you guys have never done a Q&A with me, this is pretty simple. You're just going to ask questions. So I'm going to help you answer those questions. It's pretty easy going. So I kind of like the YouTube one versus my Facebook one because you'll actually have a chance to ask some questions here. Whereas a lot of times on Facebook, I have over 500 people sometimes watching me on Facebook and a lot of people don't get their questions answered. So what I'm getting ready to go do is I might do some more like Q&As that are more quaint, more quiet, and more private so people can ask more questions. So I think that's what I'm going to start doing a little bit more down the road here next year. Do antidepressants block chakras? Jordan, this is a great question. They do to a point. Now let me explain. So a lot of times people that are on antidepressants need to keep their head above water because they haven't dealt with the trauma, which is usually an abandonment issue by the opposite sex parent, right? So until they've dealt with that trauma, which is like at a stage 4, I'm going to tell you stay on antidepressants, stay on your anti-anxiety meds, stay on all those meds because it's going to help you keep your head above water. Because when you first begin to go through a spiritual awakening, you're going up and down, up and down, up and down, right? So we got to keep your head above water and stable until we can start dealing with the core issue, which is usually abandonment of some sort. So that's why I tell people, yes, it can, but you're talking about a huge ceiling and you're not going to hit that ceiling anytime soon. So I always tell people, does it do that to a point? Yes, especially after stage 4 or stage 5, but that's not that that's pretty hard. That's a hard ceiling to hit. So I wouldn't sweat it. I have ADHD and there are days that I have to take Adderall. It does not affect how I read people or during my readings at all. So I haven't noticed a difference. If anything, it does help me to hear them a little bit more clearer. So that way I'm not waiting so long to get all the information that I need. Sometimes it goes a little bit faster. So, but no, I always tell people if you're on anti-anxiety meds, antidepressant meds, stay on those meds until you get to a stage 4 and you can deal with do the shadow work, heal that trauma stuff, right? That takes a while. So, do I think that something bad's going to happen this month? I don't. I really don't. I think there's a lot of fear going on in the spiritual community. And I have to remind people, I'm like, remember, law of attraction is still at play. So, be mindful about what you're watching, especially, on YouTube here or even, TikTok, things like that. There's a lot of fear mongering going on right now. Don't buy into it. I don't think there's a lot of things that are going to happen in October. However, personally, yes, I do, because eclipses, when they come into their world, are here to rock your shit. That's what they're supposed to do. They're supposed to rock your world so that way you can grow, expand, maybe let go of somebody that you probably should have let go of a while ago, or to shake things up just to kind of get you set on a better path. So October is full of twists and turns. Full. But do I sense anything like super dramatic or super, super bad? No, I really don't. So now next year we'll discuss, but this year, no, I'm not worried about anything really this year. Let's see. Headaches today, they should be getting easier, but if you're not well grounded, all that energy is getting stored in the third eye and the crown. So you got to make sure that you're grounding so you can keep the energy shock, the flow going or open. Let's see. Son's getting his driver's license, already had a minor accident. Aw. So Jennifer, at Awakenings, I do have the crystal kits, the travel kits, especially Malachite and Gold Tiger Eye are really good for travel. So, but that's included in that crystal kit. So each one of my kids, I have two 20-year-old daughters and an 18-year-old son, and each one of them has a crystal kit underneath their car seat. So that was one of the first things I did. That, and I put a little angel hanging from their mirror. So would an eclipse cause feelings of anxiousness? Abso-freaking-lutely, yes. Absolutely. And the headaches too, vertigo, because eclipses, again, yeah, they're here to rock our world, but they really, really adjust and align chakra systems, especially if they're off, or they maybe open them too much. And we got to get them back to put them back in check a little bit. Yeah, animals are going to be fine next year. Again, it's just a lot of emotional stuff. And that's what I've been telling people, deal with your emotional shit now. Get it. It's easier to do it now than it is next year. So, significance of seeing owls, Candace, that very well could be a spirit guide or an animal spirit guide of yours. That is usually the sign. Sometimes it is a message from spirit to maybe get a little bit more into the spiritual side of things and a little less logical. I'm exhausted mentally, physically, and emotionally. What's causing this? It's pretty par for the course for October, honestly, Janice. But the biggest thing I'm going to tell you is be selfish. You're overextending yourself for things that you could either delegate or something that other people can do, but they're not doing it because point blank, they're lazy and they're asking you to do it. So you got to have some better boundaries with that and say no. Are orbs loved ones? Usually they are. Yep, usually they are. Can melatonin help me relax better to do readings for people or channel spirit? Just wondering. Yes, it can, because it does kind of shut down the beta and the alpha brain a little bit. But you know, if you're regularly meditating, it should be pretty easy. So I meditate every day, so it's really easy for me. Magnified creativity, inspiration due to eclipse. Yes, especially cleaning. So if you're feeling the need to clean, remodel, redecorate, all good, all good. So skin cancer of the face cause, Jenna, that usually has to do with a lack of self-confidence, or you're worried about your appearance and how other people perceive you. It's not really perfectionism. It's not like that. It's more or less like you were probably raised in a household where you need to pay attention to what other people are around you because you carry the last name, or because your parents cared what other people thought. So that very well could be the root cause of it, the root issue. Let's see. Good questions. Yeah, uneasy tummy yesterday. Yeah, we all had it. Yeah, that was the last of the solar flare that we had, and that solar flare expanded our solar plexus, and it kind of made it a little wonky. So the solar plexus got a little weird on us. Absolutely. So good questions. Any other questions, guys? These are good because I don't have a lot of people on this one, so we can ask more questions. This is good. Let's see. How do I feel about scrying? So we got to remember there's different modalities when it comes to psychic abilities, right? You can be clairvoyant, clairaudient, clairsentient. There's different clairs. So why I like scrying is because it really amplifies your clairvoyance. So if you're somebody that's naturally clairvoyant, when you're scrying, or basically you're staring at an object, and you know when you stare at something and then your eyes kind of go like they get fuzzy, that's what you want. So when your eyes kind of go fuzzy a little bit, that's kind of when you want to pay attention to maybe your peripheral vision, or pay attention to the images or pictures that maybe just kind of come into your head out of nowhere. Remember, you don't have imagination anymore. You have intuition. So that's what it feels like, those visions. But scrying helps you to kind of your eyeballs to focus on something. You can also do it with a candle too. That's actually one of the ways that I started meditating, was staring at a candle, because if I would think about something else, my eyes would deviate off the candle. I'm like, nope, candle. So a candle was really easy for me to learn how to meditate with. Any advice for a stage 4 struggling, Amy? keep trucking, girl. Just if you need to get a counselor, get a damn counselor. So stage 4 is no joke. That's hard stuff. It really is. It's shadow work. You're working on the dark night of yourself and accepting the dark night of who you are and working on it. That shit ain't easy. That stuff's not easy at all. It's not easy. What's the best way to practice listening to your intuition? Understand it's your imagination, and that's exactly what it feels like. The more you meditate, the more you're able to sense, see, feel, hear. The higher your abilities will be, the better that they'll be. So the more you meditate, the better it is. Do I think there's a safe or proper way to use a Ouija board? Yes, absolutely. So it's no different than a pendulum versus tarot cards versus scrying. They're all divination tools, or even, a dowsing rods. They're all divination tools. And yep, you can use them the correct way or use them the wrong way. So as long as you always say, I only want to talk to people that are for my highest good, and you're making that announcement, then that's exactly what's going to happen. So, and a lot of times with Ouija boards, people don't close that board out. So close the board, goodbye. Make sure to close the board out. And then lastly, just make sure, again, before you use any tool, any divination tool, you're always going to state what your intent is. I only want to speak to people that are for my highest good. That's it. That's you're just going to kind of leave it at that. So, but absolutely, yes, you can use them. I think they've gotten a bad rap because, kids are like, oh, if there's really something here, prove it. I'm like, yeah, dummy, you just opened up a portal. Good job. So, but that's why they kind of got a bad rap. But if you use it responsibly, it's just like any other tool, really is. Thoughts on things manifesting in a photograph? Shadow of horns appear in a picture of a person I know, and they don't have the best relationship. And that's probably for you to see, not necessarily other people, but it was meant for you to see. And I would absolutely call that a sign. And I would absolutely take that as a sign too. Yep. How do you know if you're just a witch or just spiritual? I think whatever you want to label yourself. Some people are Wiccan, some people are pagan, some people are Lutheran, some people are Catholic, some people are spiritual, some people are atheist. However you want to label it, you go right ahead. So because it's just a label. That's all it is. And for centuries, we fought over this dumb shit. I'm like, if you feel like you're more Wiccan, great. So if that other person feels like they're more Lutheran, great. Like, I don't give a crap. It's to each their own, because it really goes on your own belief and value system. That's really what you base it off of. What are the few safe grounding crystals outside of smoky? Water safe. Shungite. Shungite is for clearing water out. So shungite is fine. Black tourmaline would be okay. I like smoky shungite. Black obsidian, which should be fine too. Those are some. Let's see. What causes eczema? My daughter struggles with this. Usually it's internal stress or worry. So it's stress or worry. And and a lot of times it has to do with a struggle with money, 9 times out of 10 with money. Deja vu comes from precognition or precognitive dreams, where you can foresee the future in a dream state, and then you don't necessarily remember it, but then you go out and you're like, hey, pass me the water, and you're like, whoa, deja vu. I'm like, that's where it comes from, is precognition or precognitive dreams. So I've personally asked for that ability of mine to be shut off, because it gets to be cumbersome when the deja vu lasts like half a day. And I don't like that. I don't like it. It's eerie. It's weird. I don't like it. So I've just asked for that ability of mine to be shut off. Same with the precognition. I don't want to know if a bunch of people are going to be dying, getting swept out to the sea, if I don't know when or where it's going to happen. So any suggestion for rituals to use during the eclipse to let issues or people go? Literally, Elizabeth, this is a good one, because what I'm going to do with the eclipse is that's going to be, for me personally, it's also on my birthday, which happens to be Saturday. Personally, it's going to be a restart button for me. I'm not going to, it's just like, I just need that like push of a restart button. And then Eric and I, believe it or not, that day are actually starting a vacation. So it's time for me to redo my goals, my short-term goals, my long-term goals. It's just time for me to really dive into me and figure out what I need to delegate, what I need to add to my plate, what can I shift, what can I mix up here a little bit. So that's going to be what I'm going to do for the eclipse. But ultimately what I'm going to tell people is maybe cut cords. So that's what we have selenite knives for, is to cut all cords that may bind you to anybody else. Don't worry if they're your loved ones or whatever, those cords will get retied or reconnected just as soon as you talk to them. So can you go back and forth in stages of awakening? Absolutely, Melanie. You betcha. So I'm at a stage 5, you bet. But that doesn't mean that I go down to a 2 or struggle with a 4 sometimes. So yeah, it's going to feel like you take sometimes like 4 steps forward and then 2 back and then 1 forward and 4 back. And well, it's going to feel like that. Will we have an election? Yes. And it's going to be extra spicy. So it's going to be pretty interesting. I've been saying up to this point, I think it's going to be Trump, and I don't know which one. Don't kill me. I'm just the messenger. Okay. So I do think Trump, maybe not even him, but it seems like there might be one in there. And then the other one might be Michelle Obama. So that's going to be my guess. If anybody's asking, I don't know, I don't really watch the news. So, but that's just kind of what's been in my head a little bit. So, let's see. What does an itchy left palm mean? It means that money's going out. You want an itchy right palm, not an itchy left one. That means that you're going to be spending a lot of money. So usually if my left palm starts to itch, the last time that happened, my washer broke. I'm like, really? So yeah. And of course it was during a retrograde, of course, Mercury retrograde. Metaphysical meaning of cuticles peeling. Yes, that's a sign of anxiety or just worry, plain worry. But it's like a lower worry. It's the ones that won't upset your tummy. I know I should be nice and all, but I'm having a hard time doing that with a narcissistic parent. Ooh, any advice? So if you want something from your narcissistic parent, remember they only play by 3 rules. 3 rules only, narcissism. It's money, power, control. That's it. That's all they care about. They don't care about you. They care about money, power, and control. Those are the 3 things. So if you want something, you have to go in that area. So if I had a narcissistic parent, I'd be like, Mom, your sweater is so nice today. Give them a compliment because they want the attention. If you give them that compliment, give them the attention that they want, then you ask for what it is that you really want, and then you'll be able to get it. So, but understand, you can't take what they say personally, especially with the gaslighting, but they are master manipulators and you will never win against a master manipulator. You won't. Don't even try. Unless you really know how to play the game, don't play the game. Don't. But you have to understand, they don't care about you or your feelings. They don't care about you or your empathy. They care about themselves, money, power, and control, and they care about what everybody else thinks about them outside of the home. Inside the home doesn't matter. Outside of the home, it matters. That's it. That's all they care about. That's it. So I'd love to sit there and say that they actually care about family. No, they don't, because the minute you rebel against that family, they'll cut you off at a will just like that. So, and they don't give a shit. They don't care. So, let's see. Is it possible people can cut your silver cord? No. I asked that question too. Spirit guide said no. And I said, well, could I cut my own cord? They said, yes, you can. And I said, well, what would happen if I would do that? And they're like, let's not ask that question. I'm like, fine, I won't. But I'm still curious. So what, are we stuck in limbo or something? I don't know. My husband has broke a tailbone. Not sure which one. That'll heal. Ooh, that'll heal, but it takes a little bit. Any of the calcites are going to help with bones. Any like orange calcite, yellow calcite, any of the red calcite's probably actually best for that one. Running nose in adults and children, it means lack of attention. Bloody noses always means a lack of attention by a parent. The cause and frequent of UTIs, Angie, you're literally pissed off. And usually if it's going to be UTI, you're going to be pissed off at your partner or your children, one of the two. But usually it's your partner. Develop allergy to dogs. Oh no. And yeah, you're going to get more sensitive. So Jenna, that's par for the course. Unfortunately, I've never had any allergies either. And now I'm allergic to freaking everything. So yeah, including like milk, half the food that's out there. Yeah. So it's pretty common. The higher you vibe, the lower tolerant you will be of low vibrational crap food. You just won't be able to tolerate it much. itchy area down there, female. Again, it's anger when it comes to your partner. So like your partner isn't giving you the quality in the bedroom that you need. So, and that's where you're just going to have to, I don't know, take a shot at tequila and be like, listen, we need to have a chat about the bedroom because I'm not happy. Okay. We got to do some stuff here. So that's one of those sit down, come to Jesus meetings, but sometimes that might require some alcohol. That's fine. That's fine. So a little bit of wine, that's fine. Saw praying mantis. That's rare where you live. So praying mantis means that you need to slow down. Slow down, enjoy life, take some time. Don't have to be all rushed. So past life, Emily's past life memories about genocide. And that's exactly it. Memories. So you're just remembering what happened in past lives or previous lives. That's okay. Drinking lots of lemon water and tea, but still have kidney pain. Melanie, kidney issues always deal with family. So it usually is because you don't feel that you're, how do I explain this one? It's like your brother is a doctor, your sister's a lawyer, and you're just a secretary. It's like in your family, you feel like your family doesn't view you as important as the other family members. So look into other alternative medicines to help with the kidneys. There's different herbs and stuff that you could do. Dragonflies, Emily, dragonflies are usually about two things. One, you've been thinking about fairies or you're looking into the fairy world, or number two, you're going through massive changes or just transformation or changes. Mm-hmm. So I feel like muggles are in full force. Oh yeah. Yeah. They're this month, they're going to be out and about and as dumb as ever. Absolutely. This month is going to test every ounce of patience you have with muggles. So it's a frustrating month. Oh, son with narcissistic girl, blind to all the red flags. Oh shit. She's excluded herself. I know it's his journey, but hard to watch. That is the hardest thing, earthing cycle. Elf, I will tell you that as a parent, they never tell you about that shit, do they? I'm like, And you're like me. There's nothing you can do other than be like, you do see that this isn't right? But don't necessarily talk about her, because if you talk about her, what's going to happen is that when a guy puts a girl on a pedestal and they want to marry that one, when they put a girl on a pedestal, they will defy their family to keep that girl up there. And it's not necessarily the girl that's doing it, it's him. So understand that if you're going to talk to your son about that relationship, do not mention her name. Don't say anything about her name. So, and the main reason for that is because he's going to defend her and push you off to the side because he doesn't see it. So all you have to do is talk to him about, well, I didn't raise you that way to have anybody treat you that way. So you kind of have to put it in terms of maybe how he's getting treated or how her response isn't a normal response. She should have responded maybe this way. Maybe you should ask her what she meant by A, B, and C or something along those lines. But it's going to be really difficult to talk about that scenario without talking about her, because it's easy to blame her, but he's blind. So let's get him to see, hopefully, and have him understand, like, do you even know what a narcissist is? And he'll be like, well, yeah, blah, blah, blah. And you're going to be like, no. A narcissist is somebody who controls you, is somebody who tells you what to do, how to do it, when to do it. They care about money, power, and control, things like that. So if you start in that direction, maybe that'll open up the conversation. But again, don't say anything negative about her, because that conversation will stop right then and there, and he'll defend that girl and not you, because he's at that age where he's going to defend the girl. Let's see. How do you know if you're on the right path? You're still in a stage 4, lonely, confident, but don't know where to go. That, Amy, then you're right in the middle of a stage 4. Your soulmate and your friends will come at the end of a stage 4 along with your life purpose. It'll click. So, let's see. Recovery with concussion. Oh, come on in. So the concussion, you have to baby that. You got to take your time on that one. That just takes time. Oh, hang on a sec. Okay, did it lock? Must have. Didn't know it did.
For fishing wire. Do we have fishing wire?
Not a clue. Not a clue.
You mind if I
Yeah,
look?
Snoop, go for it.
Am I
You're fine.
interrupting?
Nope, you're fine.
Okay.
It's all good. Mid back pain. Lori, mid back pain has everything to do with children. Literally, children on your back or using you, or it always has to do with kids. So, because lower back has everything to do with lack of financial support and money, mid back has everything to do with kiddos. My son-in-law family hates my daughter, and she's the sweetest. And yes, past family wave accepted him full on. His family kept him for thinking himself were blessed with him. Absolutely. Yep. Let's see. Yeah, past 2 years of involvement with her. That's I'm like, just take her with a grain of salt, but understand the best thing that you can do for a narcissist out the gate is give them a compliment. So if you give them a compliment, their defense mechanism goes down right out the gate. Like, oh, that's a nice sweater. Oh, I like your hair. Whatever it is, just compliment. It puts their defense down quickly, a narcissist. Sometimes it feels like the ground is breathing. Sometimes if you look at the sky, it looks like it's moving too. That's just your clairvoyance. And that veil, sometimes when you see the sky move or the ground move, it's because the veil is really, really thin and your clairvoyance is probably right on point at that moment. Infection in lower back, Yolanda, that has everything to do with lack of financial support. So you're going to a job that you have to go to because of the money and the insurance, and it has nothing to do with your life purpose. So that's why people blow out the lower back. Recently moved away. Yeah, you can shut it. Go ahead. You're fine. Ask the guys who built the pyramids. I have asked that, and it gets really deep quick. Like, you'll just have to go down that rabbit hole. It's a deep rabbit hole, but they were made with sound, using sound and frequency. Aliens, yeah. If you think we're the only ones in this whole entire galaxy, you got to be naive. So yeah, there's a lot of there's good ones and bad ones. So let's see. Recently moved away from a long-term home due to a neighbor narcissist. I'm married. He is following and trying to wreak havoc. Will this continue? Usually when you move away, they'll leave you alone. That might be one where we maybe have to get a restraining order on that one. So, and if that's the case, if that's what you got to do what you got to do. So my sister and I saw a dragonfly hovering at daughter's wedding. Could it be a past loved one? Yes, absolutely, Karen, especially at a wedding. That I don't think people realize that your loved ones and spirit guides and angels, they party at weddings. They love weddings. Like, that's a party. So let's see. Is it possible that I have always been doing my purpose? Feel that your children are your purpose? To a point, sure. Yeah. So, and it may just not be like your children. It might be other children too. Why am I feeling so antisocial last 3 months? Tina, that's pretty par for the course. So the higher you vibrate, the lower tolerant you are of just people in general. You just don't want to be out mingling. So, and if you do, you don't want to mingle with people that just want to talk about the frickin' weather or the news, right? You want to talk about some like, we want to talk about aliens and shit, right? So that's why I'm like, a lot of times I don't care to go out anymore either. Of course, I've been working a lot lately, but I'm kind of with you. I'm like, no. Or they're like, oh, let's talk about my mom, CNN. I'm like, I can't do it. I can't. I'm like, I just sit and I'm like, because I don't watch the news. There's nothing good on it, ever. There's nothing good on TV. It's always the same thing. It's always programmed TV, literally programmed, or it's sex, drugs, rock and roll, or murder. Like, it's always the same thing. There's never anything positive or good on TV. So until that changes, I'm just not watching it because it doesn't make me happy. I get done watching it and I'm like, I don't know, it's a time sucker for me anyway. I don't watch it. How do you find your life purpose? Kimberly, follow your curiosity. That's what I tell people all the time. Just follow your curiosity. If you're curious about learning Reiki, go learn. If you're curious about, learning about some other couple things, go learn. Because you can't fear, you can't be scared of anything if you understand it. That's what fear is, lack of understanding, because you don't understand what's going on. So that's why I love doing this Q&A, so people can understand that when clairvoyance begins to develop, they have somebody to talk to about that, or they're like, oh, wow, that's what that is. I'm like, yeah, you're already doing it. So how do you know what stage you're in? I wrote about that. I also if you follow me on TikTok, I kind of talked about all those different steps. I also have a YouTube video on that as well. But if you're seeing replicating numbers like 11, 11, 2 2s, 4s, all that, then you're at a stage 3 already. So in a stage 3 is when you rock the boat. That's when you get a divorce, put up the boundaries, change the job, move away, do all that stuff. So German Shepherd has skin problems around eyes and mouth. That, Emily, is a allergy. You may want to get him tested for food allergies. So, because he might be allergic to like corn or something like that, gluten, something. Will I do another workshop like next Thursday? Yes, I will. Next Thursday, I'll be doing a Spirit Guides and Angels workshop. So that's what they're referring to. It's $25 and it's about an hour and a half, but we'll also do a guided meditation. And that way you guys can possibly meet your spirit guides or angels. So yeah, I'll be doing that. I'm also going to be adding in another one, I believe in November, December, about the empathic narcissistic relationship. So I'm going to really dive into narcissism and talk a little bit about, how do you get your shit straight after dealing with a narcissist for so long? So everything in my family and life is a shitstorm. How do you know what's the right way to fix it and when you want to run? Fix what you can. Fix what's in your control now, because other stuff isn't in your control to fix right now. So fix what you can control and make sure it's you and your immediate family. Other family members can wait. Brothers and sisters can wait. Moms and dads can wait. You have to take care of you and your immediate family first. So, because if you don't do that, you're going to overextend yourself and then you won't have time for anything. And then you'll resent other people because you're not asking for help, but yet you're expecting help. So, and that's a big issue with empaths. Victorian lady next week captured a full picture of her with the outfit in Victorian era. That's yes, Cheesy. That is absolutely your spirit guide. You bet. What is trigger finger left lump on neck, left lump under right armpit associated with? That has everything, Lori, that's everything to do with authority. So either you're the one in charge or whoever is in charge over you is becoming more critical, or you're taking it more critical from your perspective. So that has everything to do with criticism. So, and feeling like you're not good enough or not worthy enough for that other person. I'm like, no, you are. They're just being extra spicy. What are the squiggly lines you see in your vision? That's clairvoyance. That's just, I call it space junk. So that's pretty par for the course. That's good clairvoyance. Yep. How do you find out what your psychic abilities are? I usually base it on are you more observant? Are you more of an audible listener? Are you more of a visual learner? Are you an empath? Do you feel things more? So it depends on your normal everyday scenarios. And with Enlightenment Academy, by the time you get out of there, you're going to know if you're clairvoyant, clairaudient, clairsentient, what a clair you are, and if you should be a psychic medium healer. So I actually help with that in Enlightenment Academy. That's why I only have like 14 people in the class, so I can individually help everybody. So, but if you're more of a visual learner, then clairvoyance is probably going to be the easier one for you to learn. So it all kind of, again, it depends, really does. But that's why I teach Enlightenment Academy, is because there wasn't enough people I felt that were ethic or moral, teaching that class. So, or teaching anything along those lines. So what causes AFib? It's when your heart chakra goes open too quickly. And then it closes and it kind of opens and closes. And when it does that, it causes a physical reaction, which is the AFib. So sometimes if you bear down and cough, it should kick it back into rhythm. But sometimes that is from solar flares. So sometimes it's from that too. Oh, got a vacuum?
That's closing.
Oh, yeah. Eczema. Oh, eczema. That has everything to do with the fact that you feel that you need to be at work, because if you're not at work, then everything's going to go to hell in a handbasket. So it's kind of in a weird way, you're like overworked, but you're the one putting yourself in that situation. Nobody else is putting you in that situation. Weight loss advice. best advice I can give you is don't eat with a negative mindset, meaning that if you're going to eat the damn bag of chips, enjoy the bag of chips. Don't sit there and eat the bag of chips and go, gosh, I shouldn't have done that. Now I feel guilty. Guilt, guilt, guilt. Guilt is the reason why you're gaining weight or holding on to weight. It's because you're eating with a negative emotion, or you're eating it to soothe a negative emotion, which again, you're eating with a negative emotion. So if you're going to eat a damn cheesecake, eat the damn cheesecake because you've earned it. Don't sit there and feel guilty about it. Just eat it. But you have to eat it with a positive mindset. So that's why we pray over our food. It raises the vibration of the food so that way we can eat it and it doesn't affect our tummy so much. So overwhelmed. I know that you're an empath. What's the exact thing to do? Just understand, be ambrosia. Is the best advice I can give an empath is to be selfish. Because you guys are the least selfish people out there. Because if I ask an empath, what are your goals, ambitions, and dreams? They can't answer that question. But if I ask an empath, what's your mom's goals, ambitions, and dreams? What's your children's? What's your husband's? What's your best friend's? They can rattle it off like that because they know what everybody else wants and needs, not what they want and need. Therefore, they need to be more selfish because most of my empaths are not. And they can't figure out why they're never happy. Because you don't know what makes you happy. Therefore, how are you supposed to get something in your world to get you happy if you don't even know what your definition of happiness is? So that's a big one. I was told that I have a low frequency of 43 and that can cause cancer. How do you raise your frequency? Jordan, it's simple. Be happy. I know that sounds simplistic, but how many times in the day have you checked yourself and you're like, wow, I'm happy. I'm just really happy. So I make it a really good idea now that I'll even do it at home. And I'll just look and I'm like, hey, babe. And he's like, what? I'm like, I'm happy. And he goes, good. But just by saying I'm happy, not only did I amplify that, I raise my vibration by doing it. So, because you can do it in thought, word, and deed, right? So just simply put, be happy. If that means that, what's the quickest thing that can make you happy? Listening to, a comedy show, or is it jamming out to a radio? What is it? So that's basically all it is happiness. So happiness, gratefulness, thankfulness, those are all things that are high vibrational type of frequencies that you can have. Before I leave my body, my whole body vibrates like electricity. Is that your energy chakras with the soul? That's about when you are ready to astral travel, or remote view, but usually astral travel. Have a hard time taking care of yourself. You like nurturing others. I'm always asking myself what will make me happy. And I'm like, that's not an easy question for an empath. It's not, because you guys know what everybody else wants. You don't know what you want to make you happy. And that's if you think about it, that's not an easy question to answer. So I always tell my empaths, make sure that you, and people with depression too, they can't answer that question either. So we have to start slow. So what are 3 goals that you think that you could hit in 6 months, and write them down? And then what are maybe 3 goals that you feel that you can hit in like a year? And just keep short-term goals. Don't worry about long-term goals. You're going to change a lot. So in 6 months, where could you go? What could you get? What could you do that would make you happy? So that's not an easy thing to really think about. So come up with 3 that you think that would make you happy in 6 months, and 3 things that might happen in a year. That's how you start, because if you know what it is that you want that makes you happy, then at least we can try to manifest that, so then we can work on our happiness, right? So that's what a lot of times my spirit guides always tell me. They're like, well, what do you want? I'm like, well, I don't know. They're like, well, if you don't want anything, then you're just complaining. So what do you want? I'm like, yeah, you're right. I got to think about, like, what do I want? So it's not what I don't want. I'm not focusing on that. That's a negative. What do I want? That's what I have to focus on. I have a few affirmations you can say every morning. I love that, especially before you go to bed, because here's the deal. You want to marinate on something positive in your brain for the 4 to 6 hours or 8 hours that you might be sleeping. So I really like to do my affirmations at nighttime. That's the best time I like to do mine. Can being exposed to multiple cash registers be overwhelming for us sensitive? Yes, absolutely, Dolores. Make sure that you get some shungite or orgonite on you to protect you from that shit. Otherwise, you're going to be absolutely exhausted, and it's not good for the body. That's not a good frequency for the body. How many times a day do I see an alien? Weekly. Is it beneficial to listen to certain music frequencies when you sleep? Yes, Amy, actually there is. Depending on which chakra that you feel might be off, listen to that sound frequency, but there's a lot of different high vibrational frequencies. Personally, like when I'm gone and I want to have some music going on in the house, like high vibe, I usually have like Gregorian monks going on, like chanting in the background. So I'll usually put that on like my laptop and then I'll just leave. And so when I come back, it's been playing for like 2-3 hours or whatever, but it really does change the vibration of your home. So it will change your vibration too. Can you be energy sponges as an empath? That's the definition of an empath, is a sponge. You guys absorb everything. You don't reflect it, you absorb it. So what do I like about the white lotus oil? The smell. I love the smell. That, and I also put it at the ends of my hair right here to keep them so they're not so frizzy. So I'll use that oil on my hair a little bit too, because it smells really good. Try a Tibetan singing bowl. Not sure how long to do it. Oh, just a little bit. Just a few minutes is good, but that will help to get rid of any residual energy in the home. So just like sage gets rid of all the residual energy in the home. That's actually a really good idea. Feel so tired lately. Is there a crystal you can use for that? Anything kind of red is the kind of like carnelian is a good one. Red jasper is a really good one. Those will help you to kind of get your energy going a little bit more. Make sure that you're staying hydrated. We've had a lot of solar flares and that will just drain your butt quick, just kind of out of nowhere. Also, make sure that you're taking a salt bath. So like a sea salt, not Epsom salt. Epsom salt's good for sore muscles, but Epsom salt is just magnesium sulfate. It's not real salt. So I'm talking like pink Himalayan salt, table salt. I don't care what kind of salt, just salt. So is it possible to be abducted by nice aliens? Not yet. Not yet. Is it possible to have a love bond relationship with your guides? In a weird way, yes. Because like my spirit guide said, how are we supposed, in your brain, you're going to interpret our presence a different way. And so when I first met my spirit guide, I was just like, man, he's hot. This is totally my, this is totally my like soulmate. And when I woke up, my spirit guide during a meditation said, do you understand why we showed up that way? And I'm like, no, because I thought like you're my soulmate, because he was hot. I was running up a hill and he was like, come on, Kel. I'm like, damn right, I'm coming. So I get up almost to see over this hill. And then my cat jumps on the bed and I wake up. And then I said, well, first of all, why did he look that way? And they said, how are we supposed to explain to you unconditional love? This is how your brain interpreted unconditional love. I'm like, okay, got it. I'm like, but what was over the hill? And they're like, more hills. I'm like, oh, it's gonna be something cool. No, it wasn't anything cool. Any suggestions on how to balance out, as I always feel high energy or really low energy, no middle ground? Brienne, that's pretty par for the course at a stage 4. There's some days that I'm great, like today, and then there's other days not so much. So that's a day we just have 2 cups of coffee instead of 1. So meaning of sty on the right eyelid, Angel, that has everything to do with you. Not you are refusing to look at your actions and how they are affecting other people. It's kind of like somebody records you and you're like, here, this is what you look like drunk at the party. You're like, nope, I didn't look like that. I don't want to know. Nope. So it's like a weird little denial of your reality. And you're not quite looking at it through your own eyes. You're just kind of in denial about it. Been have either hearing group of people laughing or somebody yelling out loud like 3 a.m. A spirit, that's pretty normal. Sounds like your clairaudient is really kicking into gear. And it always sounds like they're always in another room, right? And you're like, huh? You can't quite hear it, but you can hear it, but you can't. And sometimes you'll hear like bells or chimes, but you can't quite make it out. That's them. That's clairaudient. That's how it works. And it really, like, you'll hear it and go, did I just hear that? I'm like, yeah, you did. And if you tell them, tone it down a little bit, they will. or say, hey, I hear you. I can hear you. And they'll go, what? Last time I'm like, hey, I can hear you. Shut up. And they're like, what? I'm like, I have to repeat myself. You're worse than kids. Shut up. I'm trying to go to bed at 3:33 in the morning. So, which is really common. If you're enlightened, you're going to wake up at between 2 and 4 every morning. It's just par for the course. Struggling to get my third eye open. It's almost there. Doesn't open all the way, and then it starts to close. Lady Divine, don't sweat it. Don't, because if you're seeing 11:11, your third eye is open. You're just trying to open it farther. So it's already open. You're just trying to force it more. And I would tell you, don't sweat it, because once it clicks in your brain, and you're gonna be like, oh, I'm like, once it clicks, you'll get it. So it might be not the right time yet. You're trying to force that timing. I wouldn't sweat it. So, but it'll click. Oh, and when it does, you'll know it. Just described a Gaia network. Any suggestions on series to watch? Oh, yes, but I can't think of what his name is. He traveled all around the world trying to open up these little things and crap. Mateo, I think is his name. I like that one. I like anything from Joe Dispenza. Love him. There's a lot of different ones on Gaia TV. Love it when you start dozing off, you hear your name or your mom and nobody's around. Yeah, that's always fun. Those are clear. Those are your spirit guides. Absolutely. Learn about past lives. Your best way of learning about your past life is doing a regressional hypnotherapy session. Don't go to a psychic medium. And you want to know why? Because I can make anything up and you're going to buy it. There's no evidence in it. So do a past life regressional hypnotherapy session, or ask them to show you in a meditation, ask them to show you before you go to bed. You'll see it. Tonsil stones. That's not necessarily energetic, but if it is, it's because they have a hard time swallowing reality or swallowing truth. So, and that's really common, Amy. I have to giggle because that's really, really common for teenagers, because they think they know it all and they know nothing, but they always say, I know. And you're like, no, you don't know. That's why I'm telling you for the fourth freaking time. Yeah. Meaning of stopped up ears, Emily, that's because somebody around you won't literally shut up and you're just done listening to it. That's why old guys always go deaf. It's because their wives keep talking too much and they just don't want to hear them anymore. So then eventually they just go deaf. So, let's see. Do I follow Dolores Cannon? Oh, a little bit. Yeah, a little bit. Best spiritual podcast? I honestly don't know, because I don't listen to podcasts very much. So I don't know that one. What is Australia going through right now? We're having a referendum for its first nation. Oh, boo-hoo. Rachel, I will tell you what, I'm proud of Australia for doing what they're doing. But the people need to come together. So it's my job to start getting people together here in the United States so we can start changing the system too. So, but like I said, if the people are coming together and speaking as a group, then you're going to have better bet. So it kind of depends. Like I said, I feels good to me, but best advice on getting through the rest of October, duck and weave. Duck and weave. That's all I'm going to tell you is your best bet for this month is to go with the flow. Don't even try to fight the flow. Don't even try it. So I ain't going to try it. So are the giants the offspring of the angels? Yes. Nephilim? Yes. They are. Reason for dermatitis, that is not feeling comfortable in your own skin, or you want to get out of your own skin because you want to change and you can't change because you feel like you're kind of locked into a position or something. So smelling smoke the last few weeks, any thoughts, Karen? That is usually a loved one, grandma, grandpa, something along those lines. What I tell people is that when you smell something like cigarette smoke, who's the first person that comes into your head? So usually the first person that pops into your head, that's who that's from. That's the sign that it's from. Because remember, your intuition feels just like your imagination. That's why enlightened people don't have imagination. Enlightened people have intuition. Muggles have that. We don't have that. We grew out of that. I'm a controller. Is that why I'm not seeing much of my son or daughter? Yep. Because I think in your world, you think that you're giving your children advice and they're not seeing it as advice. Instead, it's criticism. So yes, absolutely. And so if you're going to want your kids to come around a little bit more, you got to start basic. Talk about the weather, talk about how they're doing with no comments. No comments. Even though you want to comment, you can't comment because again, they're going to feel that you're stepping on their toes, even though in your mind, you really are trying to give advice because you've been around the block a while. So, but yeah, that's where I'm like, give them space, but yet talk about very low key things like weather, things like that. Old friend is recovering addict, best crystal, amethyst and smoky quartz. I also like gray Botswana agate for that too. Color of the year is magenta. Last year was green. Yeah, earthing cycle. I seen it too. And both last 2 years are for your heart chakra. Considering that the last 2 years we were dealing with COVID, which also affected the heart chakra. So, live in the house your grandfather passed away in. Feel so much peace in the house. No feeling. Yeah, I bet not. No, Tylene, I will tell you what, if you're growing or if you're living in the house your grandfather passed away in, that there's nothing wrong with that. As I would actually prefer that because here's the deal. If something bad happens in your house, say a fire starts, I guarantee you, your grandpa's going to throttle your ass awake to get you out of bed to stop the fire. So, or he's going to fair warn you on something. So I'm like, that's actually a really good thing. That is a good thing. Been smelling electrical burning last couple weeks. Not my house, but it's strange. Lady Divine, that could be a precursor. So let's, like I said, let's make sure nothing in the house is wonky. Ask other friends that if they talk about their electrical stuff in the house, be like, no, fix it and fix it now type of stuff. So just kind of listen to where that one's going to lead you. Black onyx is a big time grounder. That will ground you and protect you from negativity, but it's a very hard grounder. It's probably one of the hardest grounders out there. That's why most men's rings are made with black onyx because it keeps them grounded and logical. Are the Anunnaki still around? Yes. What do you do with a friend who won't acknowledge your children are transgender? You just don't talk about it. You can't force somebody to look at things through your perspective. You can't do that. So it's called radical acceptance. Either you're going to still have them as a friend, even though you disagree on one small minor issue, that's okay. So just if that's the case, like I said, it probably very well could be very uncomfortable for that person, or they don't understand it, or they don't believe in it, or they're scared of it. There's a lot of different ways. So, but like I said, that's still a friend of yours. And that's just one area where you guys just simply disagree. And that's okay. That doesn't mean that you can't be their friend because you disagree on one topic, right? Wait, men are logical? Yeah. Usually. Depends. So if they're at a stage 4 or stage 3, no, they're not. No, they're emotional. Let's see. These are good questions. Reason of being anorexic, that has everything to do with your if you're a female, it's a dad abandonment issue. It's because your dad is not there for you emotionally speaking, or your dad is very critical, or your mother is very critical. So it's either the mom usually being very overly critical, or it's the dad being narcissistic, or dad's just not there for you. Because dad's jobs with the females is to help build their self-confidence. And that's what a dad's role is in a daughter's life. And that helps to stabilize their sacral and their solar plexus, especially in the root chakra as well. That's why women hold their lower chakras pretty weak. And men hold their lower chakras very, very strong. But we hold our upper chakras pretty easy and strong, and men can't do that. So it depends. There's my drink. So it just depends. That's a great question, Yolanda. Yes, it does. If you have a favorite color of clothes you wear all the time, does it have something to do with the chakras? Yes. You wear the color that you need. So if you wear green all the time, it's because you're trying to stabilize your heart chakra. Okay. If you wear orange or coral or any of those colors, you're probably ovulating or menstruating. So if you're wearing yellow, then you're strengthening your solar plexus. You're not feeling confident that day. So you wear the color that you need to stabilize that chakra. So the one color you don't want to wear all the time is black, especially if you're an empath, because why? Black absorbs all colors. It absorbs emotions too. You don't want to wear all black because you'll absorb all of that. And so as an empath, you will be absolutely exhausted, worse than if you didn't wear black. So if you're going to wear black, break it up a little bit, but you'll notice that if you wear black pretty consistently, then it's going to drain the shit out of you. So if people wear blue, it's because their throat chakra is off, because they have a hard time saying no. They have a hard time saying no. Or they don't put up boundaries. They don't say no. They have thyroid issues, throat issues. That's all not speaking your truth. And it's speaking your truth with people that are closest to you, not just your opinion. Your opinion is irrelevant. It's your truth, meaning that if somebody does you dirty, you don't say anything about it. You let it slide because you're looking at things from a bigger perspective. So if they do it again, you're more likely to let it slide. I'm like, do it to me again and I'm going to correct you. Do it to me and I'm going to correct you. I don't have a problem with my throat. So, not caring for color, same. I don't really care. I shouldn't say that. The only time I ever really care, mostly I'm green. I wear a lot of green because it looks like the color. It doesn't matter what shade of green I wear. That looks pretty decent with my skin tone. It makes my eyes go greener, but it's like, I wear too much black. I'm like, it's okay. Just break it up. Just break it up. So yeah, everything in my closet's actually pretty, like, I have all different colors. So I really try to stay away from black because it does drain me faster. Or if people come up to me and want to talk to me, like if I'm wearing black, I will be more tired than normal. Crystal that you can use to protect your energy. If you're an empath and you're absorbing other people's feelings, I like Amazonite, Chrysocolla, Chrysoprase. I love all those type of crystals to really combat that and keep your heart chakra here. So the other one would be, I think I have an empath kit, a crystal kit as well. So I wear a lot of orange. Corrine. So a lot of times people that have hysterectomies or bipolarity actually lives in the sacral. So sometimes people that are bipolar without meds will wear orange, but I'm guessing you don't have a uterus. That's what I'm guessing. So, and red and black are the same for me. That's all about your root chakra. It's all about grounding. You have a hard time grounding, which a lot of us do. I went into horticulture as a career because I have a hard time grounding. So, and I didn't realize that until years later. I'm like, well, no wonder why I like plants. No wonder why I like to be outside. It grounds me naturally. So, I think since earthy colors, yeah, that's all heart chakra stuff. Browns, that's all heart. So I'm gonna let you guys go because it's 8 o'clock and I have to close the store. Best color for thyroid problems, blue, anything blue. And thymus regulates your autoimmune stuff, your immunity. So that deals with your heart chakra. So that's all heart stuff. So thanks for watching, guys. Like I said, Thursday, I will be doing a Angels and Spirit Guides workshop via Zoom. And then I think I have a live crystal sale coming up sometime in October. And then I have a couple more Q&As as well. So if I have some extra time this month, I'm pretty short on time this month, but I know November I will have some more time. But what I will be doing for that one is I'm going to be doing some more like pop-up Q&As. So, but thanks everybody for watching tonight. Like I said, this was great. I like doing these little Q&As. These are always really good and they go so fast, super fast. So All right, ladies and gents, thank you so much for attending. We will be hopefully seeing you next Thursday, and check out Enlightenment Academy if you're interested. And also, I believe in December, I'm teaching Reiki as well. So some different things for you guys to look at. Thanks so much for watching. Have a good week ahead. And like I said, duck and weave with the muggles, right? All right, guys, take care. Bye.